Hello, everyone. Native English Video Dictionary.
Hi, my name is Elisa, and I am a native English speaker from the US. This video is made exclusively for English Video Dictionary. All right, let's talk about the word rodent. So this refers to an animal. It is not the most pleasant animal, but there are a lot of different kinds of rodents, so it kind of depends on what you're talking about. So a rodent is a gnawing mammal. So gnawing means biting. It is the largest group of mammals, and they basically have strong front teeth, strong incisors that keep growing, and they don't have canine teeth. So they don't have the teeth in the back, they only have the teeth in the front. They're long, they keep growing, and that's kind of what differentiates them from other mammal species. There are a lot of different kinds of rodents, but in general, when you use the word rodent, it has a negative connotation to it. It is not like a puppy. It's usually like, ugh, a rodent. When I think of rodent, the first thing that comes to mind is rat. And I think that is a pretty common reaction to the word rodent. And when I think of rats, I think of those nasty, germ spreading, icky things that are in subways, or unfortunately, every now and then you can see them in a city, depending on what city you're in, scurrying around. Ugh, not a good thing. But there are different kinds of rodents, and some of the most popular ones are rats, but also mice, a little bit better than rats, but still gross, squirrels, which I find very cute, chipmunks, hamsters, gerbils, guinea pigs, and porcupines. All of these fit into the rodent family. Some of them, like rats, are gross and have a really bad reputation, but some of them can be pets, like hamsters. Hamsters are a pretty common pet here. Not as common as cats and dogs, but they are a pretty common pet, I think, for parents who don't want to get their kids a real pet. So, speaking of ways that you can use the word rodent, you could use it referring to a pet. So, perhaps a kid comes up to their mom and says, "Mom, I want to get a hamster as a pet." And the mom might say, "Ew, I'm not going to have a rodent living in my house." Um, you could also use them just in a way where you're referring to them outside. So, here where I live, there are squirrels everywhere all the time because we have a lot of trees. And so you could say, "Look at those rodents outside." You wouldn't usually refer to squirrels as a rodent. Usually, when you're talking about rodents, you say the specific animal that you're talking about. So, I would be more likely to say, "Look at that squirrel outside. It's doing cute things," because I think squirrels are cute. But someone might say, "Ew, why are we talking about rodents?" Because usually rodent, like I said, is a little bit of a negative word, even if you're talking about an animal that you think is cute. But if you're talking about an animal that you think is cute, like a hamster or a squirrel or a guinea pig, again, hamsters, guinea pigs, common pets here, then you would actually use that name. You wouldn't usually use the term rodent, but someone might say, "Oh, you have a hamster. Did you know that's a rodent?" So it's not a positive way of saying it. You might also have to dissect a rodent in a science class. I had to do that once and it was gross. I had to dissect a rat. So the teacher might come in and say, "All right, class, today is the day that we're going to dissect a rodent." And if you're like me, you'll think, "Ew." So, synonyms for rodent, honestly, there really aren't synonyms or antonyms for rodent because it's a specific type of mammal, but you could just use other animals that are similar. So, these would be animals that are not rodents, but they're similar to rodents. So, like a bunny, for example, a buck, a doe. Beast of burden is a phrase that's kind of a synonym for rodent, but you can really use beast of burden and refer to kind of anything that's an animal. My mom used to say that when I was growing up. She was talking about my cat, which was not nice. So beast of burden can really kind of be used for anything. It can be used in a negative way. It can be used in a joking way, which is what my mom was doing. But that is kind of a synonym for rodent. Antonyms for rodent. So again, there's not like actually a true antonym for this word because it is just a scientific name for it's just a type of mammal. But some synonyms are primates, turtles, birds, and that's just because these are animals that are definitely not rodents. A bunny is similar to a rodent, but it's not. That's why it's a synonym. And a turtle is completely different, which is why it's an antonym. All right, so that is it for rodent. Thanks for watching.